Everything you once wanted, who you once were, everything you once worked for, comes down to that moment, and then it's all gone.
But coming to the end of an era and losing people is the hardest. It's supposed to be something that you see a silver lining in, and think to yourself that you can just forge ahead and create a new life for yourself. But I just lost someone that's really important to me. But more than anything else, I'm realizing how much I lost myself in the process, and I'm in desperate need of a retreat. I have to go recalibrate and figure out what's next. I'm headed out of town for a retreat, or a think week if you will. Spend a couple of days to pray, journal, recalibrate, and figure out what's next. I feel like I really need that right now. Let's do a tour, shall we? So I have such mixed feelings about this Airbnb. I don't know how to feel about it, because it's supposed to be like a private property, or we're supposed to like have rented it out for the think week and the retreat I wanted to do. But you know what, let me just show you. So this is the staircase you saw me coming from. The door is up the stairs, and this is the living room. They have a really nice living room, I won't lie. It's really decent, really nice. And there's another living room. It's I think a third living room upstairs, somewhere up the stairs, but I don't know if I have access to everywhere, which is part of the things I find really weird, because Airbnbs are supposed to feel really, really cute and really lifeless, not like you are in somebody's house invading the house. But they have really, really cute interior. This is the dining hall. They have really, really nice views. I will show you in a bit. And they have a kitchen. Yeah, the kitchen looks really cool. I already have my food and everything that I brought for the stay on the counter. So but yeah, it looks really cool. And that's what I was talking about, because they have pictures of their family at the stairs. I don't want to zoom in too much for privacy reasons, but it just kind of makes it weird to live in a house with people's stuff all over the house. But yeah, and they're supposed to be upstairs. There's pretty much nothing to show you anywhere else apart from upstairs. Maybe let me show you this room, because I think this is the room I would like to be in. I have no interest in seeing it. I might have to turn the lights on for you to see properly, but yeah, this is the room. I'm trying to do like a really cinematic real estate shot right now, but this is all I can get right now. I'm really exhausted, so I just wanted to show you the place really quickly before I settle in. Oh, I have to show you outside, so let's go outside. Yeah, so this is outside. A part of me feels like I couldn't have chosen a better place, because look at the view. The view is really, really beautiful. A part of me feels like I couldn't have chosen a better place, because what better view to think, to reflect, to like retreat at than a place like this. They have a pool. See how beautiful the view is. Part of me feels like I made a right decision coming here, because it's so quiet, it's so serene, it's so beautiful. But a part of me also feels like it still feels like somebody's house. I don't know if you get the drift. Maybe because I'm not showing you the people's pictures, but it kind of feels like somebody's house. So I'm hoping to have a really great time, a really productive time. Well, I'm going to make a really productive time, so I'm going to get inside and get ready to come start.
The first day was the hardest for me. I did a lot of reflection and mindset work before I started plotting my next chapter. There was a lot of emotion that I needed to unpack and let go of, and I tried to be brutally honest with myself. I journaled a lot because it's the best way I express myself. Well, aside talking, of course. Now that I figured out what not to allow if I wanted to be the best version of myself, I'm excited for what's coming now. So I went into the next day with my goals plotted, ready to make a vision board and schedule the next 10 weeks.
Good morning. It's day 2 and I'm hungry.
I guess all the crying and thinking makes you hungry. But day 2 was actually easier. I got to go on Pinterest and I got a visual representation of the things I wanted to achieve before the year ends, and I put them all in a digital vision board. I scheduled everything in my Notion and my calendar. I felt really prepared. I don't think there's anything quite like having a good plan in place and having it scheduled and it feeling real, because it feels so real when it goes into the calendar. And at that point, I felt like I could take on life. I'll show you how to make a plan in my next video, but if you're still watching, I have something you might find helpful.
It's the first day, it's day 1, and usually on day 1, I like to think, to reflect, to journal, to pray, to get myself in the zone, to start everything. And since you're coming along with me, I wanted to give you a few since you're coming with me, I wanted to give you my favorite tips to make sure that your reinvention is a success, because I noticed that every time I implemented this framework, it always worked, but every time I didn't, some way, somehow, something happened along the way. So I wanted to bring you along that journey and let you in on how I always make sure that my reinvention plan always works. So the first thing you need is audacity and delusion, and I put them together because they complement each other really. You need audacity to go after those big scary goals, and you need delusion or some sort of like irrational faith. I say irrational because it won't make sense to anybody else, but you need that bit of delusion to believe that it's going to happen for you, it's going to be possible for you. I know that when you're starting the reinvention journey, whatever goal you have to think of, until you actually do the planning that I just did, you don't really have everything on paper or defined, but you kind of have an idea where you want to go. And most of the time, if you're doing it properly, it's going to look a bit scary or a bit like, is this something I can even achieve? And it's totally fine. It's normal to always think, is this something that's possible? Is this what's going to happen? The way I learned to tackle this is to handle it with a mindset shift. The reason why it's looking scary to me, or the reason why I'm thinking, is this possible for me, is because I haven't achieved
achieved it yet. If I were to have achieved it yet, I wouldn't be asking those questions. So me asking those questions is proof that I'm not there yet, and that's okay. That just means this is a level I currently am at. So I decided to have a mindset shift about it. So I moved from, is this possible for me, to what if it is possible for me? So in this step, I kind of like see myself in it, kind of like, that's where the delusion really starts, because I kind of visualize myself achieving the things. If it's a milestone in my business, I'm already seeing myself having it. If it's an award, I'm already seeing myself winning it. Whatever it is, it doesn't always have to be superficial. It applies to every part of your life. To acquaint myself with the belief that it's possible. From that mindset, I kind of like begin moving towards, okay, fine, it's looking a bit possible, but how can it work? So in this part, I'm thinking about all the possibilities. I'm doing the research. I'm asking questions. I'm just seeing how best I can get myself into that place, or what I need to know, or what I need to do to equip myself to get into that zone. That's the first thing you want. You want to have your audacity, be bold about it. So the second thing is to have a really strong desire. You have to really want it. Wanting the thing so bad would keep you giving excuses to make the thing happen. I'll give you an example. So let's say you and I were going on a date, right? And you didn't really mind where to go. And I'm like, oh, I want to eat out. I want to go to this place. You're probably going to be like, okay, sure, like, it's fine. We can just go ahead and do it. But if you really wanted an indoor date and I really wanted to go and get food, you're going to begin to find excuses to like make it work. You're going to begin to find possibilities or like links to make what you want work with what I want. It's probably going to be like, okay, why don't we order the food and bring it in? It's kind of like a watered down version if we're talking about goals. But the whole point I'm trying to make is, if you really want something, you always see possibilities to make the thing happen. The third thing I always have in mind is to have a compelling why. I cannot overemphasize the importance of having a compelling why. It's really great to actually want something, but why do you want it? Because at the end of the day, it's why you want it that's going to keep you going. You wanting it is going to give you an excuse to make it happen, but you having a compelling reason why you want it is what is going to keep you going. For example, if you start a business solely for the purpose of making money, there are going to be phases in your business where you're actually not making money yet. And it's going to feel like the actions that you're putting in far exceed the reward. And it's going to feel kind of discouraging. You're probably going to give up along the way when you're not getting what you want to get out of it. So it's really important that you start for something that is bigger than you. A better way would be if you start a business to get a family out of generational poverty, or give to a particular cause that you're passionate about. It's going to be something that's always going to be glaring. On days where you're not making the money yet, on days where things are not going exactly according to plan, there's always going to be that fire that is still lit up, because the thing you're trying to solve is bigger than just a temporary satisfaction. There's a bit of a debate, and this is what I think about it. Sometimes your why is not going to be a positive emotion. For example, there are times where the reason why you need to get on this reinvention journey would be to prove yourself right or wrong, prove somebody right or wrong, to have like revenge success or something. In the long term, it's not sustainable. But what I think about it is this, that as long as it's getting you off your butt and getting you to do the action in the meantime, we need that emotion. Don't be scared to harness or take advantage of bad emotions, whether it's a heartbreak or loss or whatever it is. Don't be scared to use that negative emotion to fuel something. Along the line, you're going to realize it's probably not worth it to be trying to prove somebody right or wrong. But what you're going to have then is momentum. And at this point, that's what we need. So you're going to use what you have to get us to the point where we need. So use every emotion at your disposal. It's totally okay, to be honest.
So here's the breakdown. Having the weirdest sense of delusion, or the biggest audacity, or having the most compelling why, and you really wanting it, it's not enough practically to get you the results that you want, because where the magic actually starts happening is in the plan. The plan has to be broken down. So what I usually start to do is, because I have a compelling why and a vision, I bring it into the foreseeable future. I'm thinking 3 to 5 years out in the future. And then I break it down into the shortest possible timeline that I'm working with. Currently, it's about 10 weeks. This current reinvention journey is 10 weeks. So it's broken down from my 5-year goal into a 10-week goal. And it's broken down each week into a weekly goal and each day into a daily goal. The most important and the most pivotal part of your reinvention plan are the steps you take each and every single day to make sure they're happening. Every single day, I go look at my vision to remind myself, because this is where a lot of people get it wrong. Sometimes you can start out on the journey, get really excited. What eventually happens along the way sometimes is, if they get a slightest bit of comfort, they just move on in their goals. They just keep forgetting it. So the most important thing I do every single day is look back at that big vision goal. Since it's already written my weekly goal, I'm making a step every single day to get to it, because you have to keep yourself excited about the goal to actually make it happen.
That brings me to my fifth point. You have to be willing to go to really great lengths to honor that commitment to yourself. It's okay to really want something or have a compelling vision, but there are moments where you are going to have to make the decision in real time that even though what you set out to do may not be the most convenient option for you, you are going to do it nevertheless. I spoke about this on Instagram. I mentioned how if you've been someone who up until now, you haven't been keeping your promises to yourself, you're more likely going to have low self-esteem, because true confidence is built on being somebody who is secure in yourself, and being someone who is secure in yourself is being able to trust that what you say you are going to do, you actually follow through on it. The next part is something that I've had to learn the hard way, and something that didn't really come to me easily. It's to fall in love with the process. Sometimes you want to go on a reinvention journey and you can't wait for the result to happen. You just can't wait to hit that milestone and you're still obsessed with it. And sometimes it kind of gets discouraging because it's really, really far. You really want to have a compelling why. You are really trying to keep your commitment in the moment, but it's so hard. The next step was a game changer for me. I had to learn to fall in love with the process. I kind of stumbled on it. It was really, really helpful. It started when I wanted to gain weight. I started going to the gym, and it felt like a goal that would never happen, because all my life I had never been able to gain weight. I had tried so many strategies. I was getting to a point where I was loathing myself for going to the gym because the pain was unbearable. Okay, so on one Sunday night, I knew I had to go to the gym the next day, and I was dreading it. Okay, what I started doing was unintentionally, I started thinking to myself that tomorrow I'm going to be in pain, and it's going to be so good, because every time I'm in pain, it sounds crazy, but hear me out. But I started thinking to myself that every time I'm in pain, that means I'm growing. That means my body's getting bigger. That means I'm getting fitter. And the pain, me able to withstand it, shows that I'm a stronger person. And tomorrow, I'm going to be in so much pain, but I'm going to love myself after. It was like a funny thought that came to my head. So I just kept thinking about it. I just thought it was funny. The next day, I realized that when I started feeling the pain, I was actually loving it, enjoying it. Your journey would be way easier, more enjoyable if you enjoy the process it takes to get there. The journey itself is beautiful. It's not just about the destination. The most important part of a reinvention journey is not where you get to, it's who you become in the process of getting there. So laugh along the journey, have fun along the journey. You meet new people on the journey. You're going to have new experiences on the journey. Have fun. Life is meant to be fun. Have fun. By the time you get to the destination, you're probably going to realize it wasn't that hard. It was really, really fun. And the journey actually made it more worth it than anything could ever have been. The last thing really brings everything together. I've already talked about it, but it's something to really, really consider. After everything I've done, when I've done my plans and I've done all the vision exercise and everything, I actually take a moment to ask myself that, is this something I really, really want, in terms of I count the cost, and I'm realizing in the moment that a new life is going to cost you your old one. And you have to take in a moment to actually accept that fact that when you're done with this plan, the next thing, and which is what I'm going to do on day 2, is to actually do my goalkeeping and put everything in the calendar and in my Notion. But in this moment, before I start transferring everything into the calendar, because when it gets into the calendar, it gets real. But before I do that, I count the cost one more time and actually realize that my new life is going to cost me my old one. So the last part is count the cost and make sure you're ready to take the uncomfortable steps.
I think the reason why a lot of people miss new beginnings is that they look like endings. It's hard to resist the temptation of going back to relive it, at least one last time. Endings are not as exciting as new beginnings. There's no adrenaline, no expectations, just nostalgia, and sometimes regrets. But what if that's what makes them so powerful? What if endings are actually new beginnings when you stop looking back? If you enjoyed this video, I have so much for you on reinventing yourself, self-improvement, and business. So don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss my next video. See you in my next. Bye.